Prime Minister says high-rise housing will form the basis of several solutions in the future. CBC bids farewell to one of its outstanding employees. And in sports, Chris Gale's Royal Challengers squares off against Kieron Pollard's Mumbai Indians in the finals of the Champions League.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Hello, good evening. I'm Lisa Broom with the Saturday, October 7th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, government has launched the first ever high-rise solution in Barbados. The Valerie Housing Project was launched during a special ceremony this afternoon. During the launch of the project, Prime Minister Fendel Stewart said the 6-story building at Valerie is more than just a standard high-rise.
It is part of the blitz on poor quality housing within the Greater Bridgetown boundary that runs from Holders Hill in St. James along the ABC Highway up to Worthing in Christchurch. Valerie is the first of several 6-story developments planned to provide decent housing for low-income residents in the 3 most densely populated parishes of Barbados.
The Prime Minister also outlined a number of special features to be included in the facility, which will have 72 two-bedroom units, along with 8 special units for the elderly or disabled.
These include adopting for this project the regulations used for managing condominiums in an effort to avoid the degeneration of these units into squalor, as has been known to happen in large cities in developed countries. Providing recreational space for families in order to keep alive and strengthen the community spirit.
Mr. Stewart said the units have also been designed to be environmentally friendly, with reflective windows and double glazing to keep the rooms cool. He's also satisfied that the building meets all the Town Planning Department requirements, including all the geotechnical rules to ensure that the building is sound. Meantime, Housing Minister Michael Lashley said the efforts at Valerie fit into government's plan for urban renewal. But according to him, urban renewal is not limited to the construction of buildings.
Very shortly, we will be launching the second aspect of our urban high-rise and renewal program. That is the renovating and beautifying of existing units. There is no doubt that this project adds a new variety to housing solutions within urban Barbados. Already there seems to be an excitement for the completion of this project, which I understand started in June 2011 and will be completed by 2012. There's a necessity to complete this building by June 2012.
And stressing the importance of safety, the Housing Minister also urged the builders on the various sites to stick to best practices when constructing houses. And MP for the area Richard Seeley told the launch he is convinced that the future of housing in Barbados lies in high rises.
The town planner gets a little nervous when buildings get too tall, I know. And I can appreciate that. He's concerned about the impact on the streetscape and the despoiling the environment and these wonderful terms that town planners like to use. But there's a certain imperative that we need to confront. And I think that this government is showing that it's bold in dealing with the housing crisis in Barbados.
He said one of the positive outcomes of the venture will be the improvements they will bring to the lot of the urban population.
For too long, often associated with living conditions that are not necessarily the best, crowded and cramped, compromising in amenities and the like. But in addition to that, you're also allowing your population to be close to where the majority of the business activity is taking place. So invariably there are savings as well from a point of view of being close to the centers of activity in your country. And not only because we know you can't only live by doing work, but you're also close to schools, places of worship, and areas and places to recreate yourself, restaurants, centers of entertainment, etc.
A series of loud house parties has left residents of West Terrace St. James troubled. The latest incident occurred last night in the area when shots rang out, rocks were thrown and properties damaged. Residents say police were called in and immediately stopped the party. But they noted that as soon as the lawmen left, the party was restarted, again disturbing the neighborhood's tranquility. MP for the area, Donville Innes, was on the scene this afternoon. He says a major concern is that when such developments reach the courts, guilty parties are given a slap on the wrist after they've caused emotional distress.
As a taxpayer and as a Barbadian, I am deeply concerned by some of the sentences being meted out from our magistrates and judges in Barbados today. They seem to have no clue as to the trauma individuals go through when their houses have been burgled, when they've been injured in criminal activities. They seem to have no understanding as to the negative effect of illegal drugs in this country.
Mr. Innes believes it's unfair to allow non-national students into a country to study and have them disturb the peace among its citizens. An early morning fire has severely damaged the Barbados Beach Club along Maxwell Coast Road, Christchurch. The blaze occurred around 10 minutes past 5 this morning, causing extensive damage to the inside and the roof of the building, which was being renovated. Fire officials battled the blaze in the stone and timber structure for a while before bringing it under control. Barbadians from all walks of life sang lustily, wept openly, while spiritedly celebrating the life of Pastor Victor Leach, late Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation employee. Lisa Lord was among the hundreds who gathered at the Coral Ridge Chapel in Christchurch this morning to say farewell to a colleague, a friend and a family man.
The many lives he touched was evident as scores filled the chapel at the Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens to pay their last respects to Pastor Victor Leach. His close friend and brother-in-law Dr. Albert Bartlett eulogized the former chief technician at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation and pastor at CEF Miracle Center as one who was a true Christian in every sense of the word.
A lady said he would get things moving and he was easygoing. Another said he made you feel comfortable and all was well. Just want to mention here the color of an object. What you see is the light that it reflects. If you are reflecting Christ, people will see it. If you absorb everything that Christ gives you and don't reflect it, you know what you are like? A black hole. Black hole absorbs everything. It releases nothing. We can't say that about Victor.
In his sermon, Reverend Trevor Daniel told the congregation that death is inevitable, and whenever the Lord calls, know within your heart that the time is right.
Be not dismayed in your heart at all. But he died too soon, and he died too young. Who told you so? Where did you get your authority to decide when somebody dies? But Victor had a good life. You may not think so, but he had a good life, and now he is asleep.
Acting General Manager at CBC Rod London remembered Pastor Leach as one who could easily form friendships with anyone he met.
His easygoing manner, positive attitude, and the way he interacted with people were some of the things I admired about him. On many occasions after we met, I saw Victor in action. We would walk into a room and immediately the atmosphere of the room would change. He would interfere with the very first person he came into contact with, immediately upon entering the room, and would have them laughing at something said.
The most touching tribute came from his wife and partner of 30 years, Jacqueline. Mrs. Leach says while her faith remained strong and she prayed that her husband would be healed, she knew that God wanted his servant.
We do not grieve as one who have no hope, right? I have a hope. And my husband, I said to him, he promised me, and I said to him, Victor, you can go, but promise me that when I'm coming, you will meet me. And he made that promise. You know, he's gone on to glory. He's out of his suffering, it's bittersweet, but Victor was a gentle giant. Never complained. He never complained. And if somebody did something wrong, or, you know, he would always say, yeah, maybe they had a little problem. Don't look at that. You know, you forgive them. Look at the human side, you know. And that was Victor. I shall miss him.
A father, a brother, a friend, a confidant, a counselor. Pastor Victor Leach. May he rest in peace.
The Ministry of Health is moving to reduce amputations among the diabetic population in Barbados. To this end, a new foot care program for diabetics will be coming on stream shortly. This disclosure from Health Minister Donville Innes following a tour of the St. John Polyclinic.
The Ministry of Health is currently working on a new diabetic foot care program, which will be rolled out and driven within the primary care setting. I mean, we can't wait until diabetics get so bad that they have to get an amputation. So therefore, for example, in that score, we're working on re-educating Barbadians and sensitizing them as the importance of healthy lifestyle and managing their own situation. But then within the polyclinic system, it is to have both the technology and the skills necessary to manage diabetics, for example. We've partnered with the Diabetes Foundation Barbados to establish a diabetes specialist center in Warrens. The government has provided the lands. They have secured funding for the building, and I expect that too will start shortly.
Mr. Innes says they are also working with the Heart and Stroke Foundation to reduce incidents of chronic non-communicable diseases.
We continue to partner with the Heart and Stroke Foundation to provide rehabilitative services to those who have had heart attacks in our society. So we're seeking, in part of our renewed efforts, to pull some services away from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital and back into the community, where it becomes far more economical to manage and deliver those services than in an acute care facility like the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
The thoughts, words and visions of the late Prime Minister David Thompson have been memorialized in a book called Barbados is More Than an Economy, It's a Society. Compiled and edited by Education Minister Ronald Jones, it will be launched next Saturday at the Hilton Hotel. So far, 3,000 books have been printed and signed copies will be available for purchase at the launch. They may be pre-ordered through Premier Event Services, coordinators of the event. Speaking at the pre-launch at the Hilton, General Secretary of the Democratic Labour Party, George Pilgrim, said the publication was completed with great pride and joy and is the first of a trilogy. The second will look at Mr. Thompson's speeches, while the third will chronicle his political journey in photos.
The intention of this effort is to expose the body of ideas as held by our late leader to persons now and generations to come. David Thompson was a thinker and a person of ideas. We anticipate that the book will contribute to the rich legacy left by our many political leaders and thinkers of the day who have left a void with their passing.
Barbados is More Than an Economy, It's a Society is the third publication by Minister Jones, the first to look at the legacy of the late Errol Barrow. Representing the Thompson family and her father's charity, Families First, Oya Thompson has commended the work done on the book.
We are very happy and commend the effort of the editor, Minister of Education, the Honorable Ronald Jones. This publication means a lot to the family as we continue to remember our father as a tower of sacrifice.